A tanker carrying more than 1,000 gallons of off-road diesel spills in Mercer County. We're taking a look at what that means for the environment.
The Breeders' Cup has helped a Lexington organization raise thousands of dollars for the homeless. How much they raise coming up.
And a Lexington stroke survivor credits quick medical care and new technology to his recovery. His story coming up.
This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon. A busy Central Kentucky road is finally back open. A tanker truck turned over this morning, causing the road to be closed for hours.
The 8-mile stretch of US 68 in Mercer County has been closed for more than 6 hours. The driver was taken to the hospital. Cleanup crews worked all day to contain the spilled fuel.
State police say they are still trying to figure out why the driver of the tanker ran off the road. But they say what they know so far is that around 7:30 this morning, the driver was heading west here on US 68 when he ran off the road. They say that he lost control of the tanker, overcorrected, and then flipped. They tell me he did not come to a stop until he hit this guardrail. Investigators say the Norfolk Southern driver was hauling 1,100 gallons of off-road diesel from Georgetown to Bergen. When he crashed, diesel started spilling from the tanker. Worried it would spill into a nearby stream, the Environmental Protection Agency rushed to set up booms in the water that would absorb any diesel. According to state police, the driver of the tanker was not seriously hurt. We're told he's being treated at UK Hospital for cuts on his face. Crews were able to clear the wreck after the fire department pumped the remaining diesel in the wrecked tanker into a second tanker. It was time-consuming work, and it shut down about 8 miles of US 68 for hours. While crews worked to reopen the road, the tanker rested on a guardrail. State troopers say if that wasn't here, this crash could have had a much more serious outcome.
There's about a 25 to 30-foot drop, so we could have been working a fatality here.
Investigators tell me firefighters were able to quickly clean up the diesel that spilled onto the road here, so they don't think that there's any real threat to the environment. In Mercer County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
And the EPA is still trying to figure out if any diesel has spilled into the creeks or streams in that area. After 2 soggy days here in the Bluegrass, we are finally starting to dry things out today with some peaks of sunshine out there, and it was nice.
It looked beautiful out there today. Beautiful fall day. Unfortunately, the rain is coming back this weekend, and that could put a damper on your Halloween plans. Let's check in for the very latest with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Chris?
Yeah, guys, a little good news as we get closer to that weekend. We're pushing those rain chances back a few hours. The later we get the rain into town on Saturday, the absolute better for the entire Bluegrass state, and especially with everything going on out at Keeneland, Commonwealth Stadium, trick-or-treating. Let's not forget that. Let's concentrate on what's going on short-term, though. Drier and cooler air continues to press in. A lot of clouds still across southern and southeastern Kentucky. That cloud line over the past few hours has been right on top of parts of central Kentucky, the Lexington metro especially. Looking to the south, you're seeing more in the way of some clouds. To the north, it's a blue sky. We have our sky cam focused on that southern horizon where we are indeed picking up on a little more in the way of some clouds. But as we continue to scour that skyline to the south of us, you will notice how the clouds will eventually give way to blue skies the farther west and north that we look. That's what we're seeing across the northern skyline. Now, if you're out and about this evening with clear skies, low humidity, quick drop in temperatures through the 40s, so grab a jacket as you head out the door. Your Friday looks good. The weekend rains begin to push back into town. Timing on the arrival of those showers, guys, very, very critical. And we'll take a brand new look at an hour-by-hour forecast when I come back in less than 10 minutes.
Chris, we'll see you then. Thank you. A jury found a man not guilty in a Lexington murder. The jury deliberated for more than 4 hours in the Jeffrey Morris trial. The Herald-Leader reports there was conflicting testimony about where Morris was the morning Anthony Carter was shot and killed on Chestnut Street on June of 2014. One witness, Morris's employer, testified he was with her in Louisville the morning of the murder.
Well, thanks to a donation in the form of Breeders' Cup tickets, one Lexington organization has raised thousands of dollars. The Catholic Action Center says it has raised $3,500 from the sale of 15 donated tickets. The money will be used to help those in need during the winter months. All of the donated tickets have been sold, but if you want to help, you can still make a donation on the Catholic Action Center website. We have a link on WKYT.com. Will the next governor of Kentucky keep it or kill it? Well, that's the question for about 500,000 Kentuckians who buy insurance through Connect, the state's health exchange.
They may not have that option much longer because the three candidates for governor have differing opinions on whether they will continue the program or end it. Independent Drew Curtis would wait to see whether Connect is effective before he would make any changes. Democrat Jack Conway would keep Connect. Republican Matt Bevin says he would dismantle it and switch to the federal exchange. The candidates are also at odds over whether they will expand Medicaid.
What I'm not going to do is what my opponent has been clear that he would do, which is to come in on day one of his administration and reverse Governor Beshear's Medicaid expansion. And if he were to do that, he would kick nearly 500,000 people off of their health care coverage. And I think that's very callous.
The current structure is unaffordable to Kentucky. We literally do not have that money in the budget. So where then, this is the difference between myself and Jack Conway. Jack Conway just says, don't worry about it, we'll find the money. Where? Where?
If it happens to pay for itself, then I think we're in good shape. But, again, this is one of those things that, it's a policy concept that I don't believe that you should have a hard position on until we can actually see what the data brings us.
Tonight at 6, investigative reporter Mark Barber is sitting down with the three candidates. He's taking a look at their different positions on Connect and how the Medicaid expansion will affect your health insurance. Today is World Stroke Day. Nearly 1 million people a year in the U.S. are affected in some way.
The symptoms can be tough to detect and can have fatal or paralyzing consequences. WKYT's Rebecca Smith talked with one local stroke survivor who says he's lucky to be up and moving around.
Bill Thompson is back to his longtime ticket taker job at Keeneland almost a year after suffering a stroke that led to major surgery.
I can't remember anything about that after that morning. Until after I got out of surgery.
His wife Donna was the one who found her husband last November.
I said, "What in the world are you doing in there?" I went in and he was laying on the floor. And I knew immediately what had happened. So I called 911.
Unlike the Thompsons, for a lot of stroke sufferers, there are no obvious signs of what's happened, making it all the more important to get treatment as soon as possible. Along with prompt medical care, new technology helped in Bill's case. 8 months after his stroke, doctors were able to get to the underlying cause of his stroke-inducing blood clot.
To know that he had the irregular heartbeat now commits him to lifelong blood thinner. We know that he needs to be on lifelong anticoagulation to prevent any further strokes in the future.
At 80 years young, Bill says he pretty much feels as good as he's ever felt.
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. I don't have no problem doing anything. The biggest problem I have is buttoning my shirt sleeves. I have a little problem with that, but that's it.
And Lexington, Rebecca Smith, WKYT.
And he has a great partner. That really helps. Signs of stroke include numbness or weakness of the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side of the body, sudden confusion, trouble speaking, seeing, or walking, also a severe headache.
More than a year after tying the knot, George and Amal Clooney are adding to their family. We'll explain coming up.